Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the King of Cannons. Down here in the bottom right hand side of the map in the blue, our Protoss player, this is Printaf. And today we have a compilation of matches for you guys where we are looking at all of Printaf's recent PvZ strategies. Now, his opponent in this first game in the top left is going to be a Grandmaster Zerg who is a kind of a connoisseur of weird strategies himself. A very lovely guy, always keen to share his build orders. It's Spur. Now, what is the point of King of Cannons? How many times can you watch an idiot cannon rush and find that entertaining? For anyone who's asking that, well, the whole point, especially with these new compilations, I really feel it's partially informative and partially just to revel in the glory of how damned well executed this. So, look, partially we want to see, how do you do this? How do you pull it off? Where are the new spots? What are the options? Where can you place this down? The other thing is we also want to be learning and picking up. Is he actually... Ooh, he sees pool first. He realizes there's no hatch down. He's actually going to cancel that pylon. Oh, he's going to go for a pylon there. Interesting. And he starts probing. All right, let me continue that thought in a moment as Printaf's adjusting against this pool first. He's going to go for a cannon contain, but he didn't want to go for it down there because he said, look, if you're not going to expand, then I'm not going to bother cannoning here. Why would I? And actually, look at that. Spur goes for a gas A pool, takes the rich gas proxy hatch on the other side, and goes for another gas here. So Spur's going to try and react with a proxy hatch, but the drone count's very low for Spur. So Spur really needs to hit that worker count, especially if he wants to be mining off double gas. Meanwhile, Printaf setting up cannons on the high ground, purely with the purpose of containing his opponent. He's up to a gas behind this, and he's going to build a gateway there as well. So he's going to try and get Stalkers up on the front. Oh, he's going to really commit to this. Spinecrawler will go down there. That's not really going to achieve much, though, is that Spinecrawler. And already mining from two gases. I feel like Spur here, going for the Queen and the Spine, I feel like it's either go straight for the Ravages ASAP or go for the Queens and the Spines to delay. But I don't know if we can do both and a proxy hatch. Seems like a very expensive option. So as this progresses, Printaf clearly is just going to stop it. I think 16 probes on minerals, 3 on gas, and it's just going to go probably 2-gate Stalker here. He's going to try and just build batteries with these cannons, rally in with the Stalkers, and just pick away at his opponent. So as I was saying, guys, it's partially to learn how to stop it as well. We get to look at solutions to this. So if you're tuning into today's show, you're also going to have losses in that. I always tell Printaf, include losses that are interesting or close games, creative responses, that sort of stuff. So I've got a mix in here. Some are wins, some are losses. I'm not going to tell you which are which, but some of them are very short, very quick games. Some of them are a little bit longer. But overall, you guys are going to see a lot of different scenarios play out. And not only is it just bloody exciting because it's such a weird, instantly both players reacting to each other's style of StarCraft, but it's also something where we very clearly get to see you know, where the best spots are on a new map pool, how the meta has evolved up in Grandmaster when it comes to defending these cannon rushes, as well as what little tricks he ends up executing to make it work out. So a bit educational and a bit holy shit, that's some glorious cheese. A little bit of everything hopefully included today as these two Stalkers come in. And yes, the Spinecrawler can damage that Stalker. Got to be careful there, but shield battery is ready. So Printaf not bothering with any fancy micro. Technically could try to micro in and out of the Spinecrawler's range a little bit there. You'll still take a hit each time, but maybe be a little more efficient. Ooh, Ling speed's done. But if those Lings engage in range of the cannons have crazy damage. So I feel like with these cannons this close to the hatchery, you can't really buy much time. Spur's trying to run in and out. He's trying to get a Nidus Worm up, so he's going to try and evacuate out of this main base, just building Zerglings to desperately buy time. But already that worker count stacking up. 2 have gone down. And Printaf right now, I think, is realizing that there might be a proxied hatch out there because he doesn't know about it just yet. So he's sending a probe out. You can see he's queued that one to go all around looking for it. That Queen taking a lot of damage. Notice Spur cleverly pulls off this gas. Doesn't want to give those easy access drones to snipe down. Spur needs to get out of there. Nidus Worm's done. The exit's popping up on the other side of the map. The Zergling's going to go for one more wraparound. They won't get it. And I think Spur's just got to leave, get to the expansion, and get out of there. Probe comes in and tries to fight, but Spur with a quick response does take that out. And actually, oh, it's a Nidus Worm that's going to pop in the base. Okay, okie dokie. So he's going to go for the kill first and foremost, but that's not going to work out, is it? don't think that's going to work out. The hold position probes there. They're not actually held position, but Printef move commanded the probes onto the cannon. So some of them got pushed out of the way by the Zerglings, but he kept the cannon alive long enough. Another cannon and a shield battery up. I don't think there's any way Spur can take this out. Spur needs another Nidus Worm exit up. He needs to start another Nidus exit here right now, or he's going to be stuck inside this main base. He's trying to run in with Zerglings, but he's losing them all to the cannon. Oh, wait, there's no cannon at the front. Okay, he can break his way out. He still needs a Nidus Worm there because he could be mining this whole time. Oh, he could be mining this whole time. He's going to lose that. No, Spur missing a golden opportunity. He spent all of his money on this Spire. So he's going to try and go one base Muta. These drones, there's actually a hole right now. They could go back to mine. Get them out of there. Spur, you got to get back to mining, buddy. Oh my God. I think Spur, if you're going to evacuate the drones, you're going to be a bit more decisive and quick on that. And the problem is the spawning pool just died as well. So he can't even build Zerglings or Queens right now. Printef has got a nice little outpost up here. He's built a Twilight there. He's going to go charge behind this. Oh, does lose a Gas Geyser. But so many Zerglings have gone down. 22 in this game. And look how little Printef has lost. He's going to take that Nidus Worm out now. And I mean, these Stalkers, there's enough of them. There's nothing to really counter them. They could just bully their way across. For anyone who's new to the King of Cannons, remember that Printef not only never smurfs, he always plays on his main account, never hides his identity, never plays on a barcode, anything like that. But he also is a player who always, he holds true to one base or die trying. He will very, very, very rarely expand, but 99.9% of the time, one base or die trying. He always feels like he would rather get more decisive and better at killing his opponent on one base with all these transitions than anything else. And it looks like Charge plus Dark Templar is going to be what he goes for this time. Now, Spur is going Mutas and +1 fire attacks. He doesn't even have a spawning pool. He's going like all in on just one base Muta production. Oh, this is amazing. I mean, the thing is, how does Printef ever get an expansion up, right? He's not really got mobile anti-air. He's got 6 Stalkers, which will beat those Mutas in a head-to-head, but the Mutas don't have to stand and fight. Now, DTs, there's no detection here, right? Yeah, he could make an Overseer. No, he couldn't actually. Oh, DTs will just win the game then. Oh, okay, so he could just win with DTs. I think if he just warps in Dark Templar, but actually those Mutas should see it. He flies in, he sees the Dark Shrine. So, okay, he can make a Spore Crawler. Oh, that's very important that Spur scouted this. He's also going to depower these gateways just before Warp Gate's done. Warp Gate finishes as the gateways get depowered. Oh, no. Printef with no cannons defending the gateways. Dude, he doesn't even micro the shield battery. So he's going to lose all this tech. Oh, no. Printef realizing now his mistake. He's going to rebuild 4 gateways on the other side of that. 6 gate on one base. But he's got to build tech. Dude, he's going to... If he loses his Twilight and his DT Shrine, he can't make many units on him. He really needs to build a Templar Archives or a DT Shrine again. A Spore Crawler and a Lair are on the way behind this, as well as just more and more Mutas for Spur, who has a pretty impressive Muta count at this point. I like that the shield batteries were used there to help these kit units stay alive. He's got 3 gateways. He does warp in a few DTs. I don't think he can keep him in DT form, though. Yeah, he's going to go straight Archon, which is wise, but only 1 Archon. And now he's lost his Twilight Council. He didn't rebuild his tech. Oh no, Printef, you're going to rebuild your Twilight Council from scratch now, buddy. He nubbed it. He nubbed it, guys. No Blink done. No Templar Archives. He's now going to rebuild the Twilight Council before he's even allowed to build the Templar Archives, as his tech tree just got reset. Meanwhile, Spur, what's the count? 13 Mutas? They'll kick the shit out of 6 Stalkers. The problem they have is the Archon, which deals insane splash damage. That's a big problem for Spur. So Spur's going to come in and try and find some harassment. But the Zealot Stalker going across the map, and that's a lot of Zealots. Oh, dude, he doesn't have enough. He's got no defense at his base. He can't lose his economy. This is all of Spur's economy. Meanwhile, the cannons are keeping him back. He gets 1 or 2 probes to the bounce damage and in the simulator. That's not enough. Spur's drones need to run. Abandoned ship. Abandoned ship. His couple of Zerglings are trying to run circles around the mineral line to distract his opponent. Oh, he's going for the Archon with the Ling Muta. He's going to take it out. He's going to get the Stalkers as well. He will take this out. He's going to kill all the anti-air. Spur does get aerial dominance. Nothing left that shoots up. Those last 2 Stalkers do take out 1 Mutalisk, but that means there's still 10 remaining. Unfortunately, though, oh, dude, he just lost 21 workers. Spur's economy completely gone. The Muta's going to hunt these Zealots down. Printef's trying to split them up. He says, we can't fight back, but we can hide. Scattering to all corners of the map are these Zealots. Many of them go down. But now the Mutas are going to be pinned at home, trying to defend against that. Meanwhile, a new Templar Archives is on the way for Printef. So he's realized, look, Charge Lot's really good if we're on low economy. They're so efficient. Archons are going to be fantastic against Mutas because they beat Zerglings and they beat Mutas. They're just a very well-rounded unit and they work off gas. My minerals are starting to run out, but your gas on one base lasts a lot longer than your minerals does. And Archons, especially off High Templar, are incredibly mineral light. 300 gas, only 100 minerals for each Archon. So Archons are never going to really be beatable by Mutas in a frontal fight. The only reason it worked in that scenario is because it was only one Archon and 6 Stalkers, and it was like mass Mutas surrounding and overwhelming it. Most of that army was Zealots, but he's now already got 2 Archons up, making a few more Stalkers as well. They're a bit more mobile. They're also skinnier units than the Archons. Nice move here with the Mutas, just using that bounce damage to bounce across the pylon, the probes, but not quite able to kill the Assimilator there. Back up to 7 workers here, just using the bank spur, building 3 more with the last little bit of minerals. I mean, Printef's definitely got the better army. Just keep in mind that this base is mining out. He's going to run out of resources, whereas this base is still pretty fresh. The gas is not, but everything else is. So for the Mutas, it's just keep biding your time, keep trying desperately to find a way to make it happen here in this scenario. And 2 Archons and a pack of Stalkers. If these Mutas could isolate them, that would be great, but they're being pulled back just to clean up these Zealots. And those Archons and Stalkers moving forward. Zealots are going to join up with them as well. So if he goes for another attack, even if the Stalker Archon is overwhelmed, the drones have nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide. They're going to get overwhelmed, and the Mutas aren't even there. They're hunting for Zealots on the left side of the map right now. The Muta's way out of position as the Zealot Archon Stalker comes on in here. Oh, and he's even clicking on the lair. He's clicking on the lair. He says, look, if I just kill that, that's your only base. He's just going to kill it. Oh, Spur is forced to fight. Printef says, yep, no mining left for you. Guess what? Every second that goes by, I am mining. I'm going to make more Archons, more Stalkers. You can't build anything else. The Mutas run over and they say, well, I guess I'll kill your Nexus. But there's a shield battery there that can be overcharged at any point for super healing on the Nexus. And guess what? More Archons being built. Spur knows he's done and has to tap out. Okay, a wild game to start things off there. Let's go to the next map. All right, here we go. Our next opponent slash victim slash guy who's going, ah, shit, I'm up against Printef. In the top right, representing Exxon, it's a Bio-Ice. And his opponent down here in the bottom left, representing Quasars, it's Printef. Of course, pylon there, Forge, later on a Cyber Core to finish the wall off. This is the standard way we see. Printef seems to be liking this. Try to get the cannon rush up. It'll be a 15 Forge or 16 Forge. Let's see, does he go 15 or 16? Looks like he's going 15. Does he build one more probe though? He's going to go up to 16 workers. Doesn't use any chrono boosts. And the second guy also goes across the map. Now the drone comes across, as does this Overlord. It looks like a hatchery first for Bio-Ice. But, oh, Printef realizing he's up against player who's probably going to try and hard counter. He's thinking about walling in cannons all the way back there. I think he was expecting a 12 pulse. But I think he'll cancel that, seeing that it's a hatchery first, and try to get much closer. Yeah, he cancels it. He comes back, and he's going to go for the wall off on the high ground. And he does complete it, but Bio-Ice cancels the hatch and rebuilds on the other side of the map. He builds in the natural of Printef. Okay, so Printef needs to go scout that. He's sending 1 probe to chase that. He's going to cancel 2 of these pylons, these 2, and rebuild on the low ground. So notice he'll go, oh, that's a really bad positioning from Printef. He fudged this up. Yeah, he just trapped his probe in there. And that cannon could easily get killed by a drone pull. So he's just counting on Bio-Ice not doing a drone pull to deal with this. So that's a really sloppy cannon positioning in my opinion. But he is getting the gate up on the front. He's going for the gas. He's building more probes. And we'll be following that up with a Cyber Core there. Cannons on the front as well. He even cancels that other cannon. So he wants everything on the high ground, realizing that it's all about defending this high ground so we can get Stalkers out and just kill Bio-Ice. Now he sees double gas, which tells him it's going to be Ravagers from Bio-Ice, but Printef still doesn't know about this hatchery, and this seems to be a weak point in his play, is that he doesn't really look for those proxies. So potentially just going for a really quick proxy hatch might actually be an answer to Printef with how he's playing this in this current meta. Cybercore does go down to finish the wall off at home. Printf will get news of what's going on down there. But how can he hang on against it? We'll have to see. A Spinecrawler in the main, as well as a Roach Roar in there. BioIce going all the way up to 19 workers, 13 on minerals, as well as 2 fully mining gas geysers. 2 Zerglings will be building on the other side of the map. They're going to start to tear this down. There's no cannon at home. He's building 4 lings. There's nothing at home. Printf skipping the cannon. That's being so greedy. There is no reason for him to not have a cannon up at home. In a scenario like this where they've gone back to quote-unquote 1 base, he's going to build a cannon now. So that means that Cybercore is already going to be heavily wounded by the time that cannon finishes. So this is definitely very problematic for him. He's got 2 Stalkers building on the front, though. They should be able to do good damage in here, but it's just an arms race. Does BioIce commit to 3 Roaches over here and just bust through, or does he build the Roaches at home? BioIce Roach Warren kicks in, and he builds them down here on the front, so he's going for broke. He gets a Queen out as well, puts an Inject down immediately, and look at that. This is what I'm talking about. The Cybercore's already almost gone. Printf has no time to prepare a defense, and he's used all of his energy on chrono boosting Stalkers, so he doesn't have a recall. Already a Zergling does get in the mineral line. The other 3 Zerglings go down, but these Roaches are out, and they'll be able to overwhelm that cannon. They might even just focus Pylon down, but here we go. He's just going to focus that down. The Stalkers are up in the main. They've already picked off a few drones, 3 kills between them, but I don't think that's enough right now. Is it though? Maybe. Okay, the Roach is pulling back, so they're just fighting that. They're pulling back and morphing into Ravagers to heal themselves back to full life. Nicely done by BioIce. He's going to take that cannon down. Meanwhile, his hatchery's going to die. Actually, okay, this could be a problem for BioIce, because once that goes down, he doesn't have any mining. That being said, Printf's in the same boat. He's going to try and pull probes and surround this. Oh, he tries to do some biles, which he was hoping to get back to, but he kind of overshot on those. The Roaches and the Ravagers, though, none of them are going to die here. Printf desperately trying to kill 1 Ravager. Oh, he does get 1 Ravager, but that was his whole probe line. Meanwhile, the Stalkers do kill everything over here in terms of the hatchery goes down. The drones, if they run past the cannons, most of them will die. He's going to snipe an Overlord as well. This does put BioIce into a supply block. BioIce's got a few drones out, but Printf is just building Zealots right now. That's interesting. Zealots, not Stalkers. Yeah, I mean, Printf just not getting his wall off up at home quickly enough. And the counter hatchery rush, I think in this scenario, this was the right call by BioIce. But I think what I'd be critical of, I'm gonna rewind this replay when this is over, is I don't think he knew there was no cannon, because his Overlord was too far away. I think he should have been checking the wall, and I think he should have been a bit more intelligent with it, in terms of actually building the Roaches at home if there's safety here. And if there's not, and Printf's fully committed on the front, do what he did this game. So what he did was the right call. I'm just not sure if he scouted to make sure it was the right... Actually, no, his Zerglings were already on the high ground. So he said... So I guess the only thing I could criticize is the 4 Zerglings that he built first. I'll go back and take a look at it in a moment. Meanwhile, 1 probe is very slowly going to kill all these buildings to complete the base trade. Of course, the spawning pool and the Roach Warren will die out. But Printf realizes he's got to do something more here. There's a bunch of Roaches, 6 Roaches and 2 Ravagers plus a Queen with a Transfuse. That's too much for these Zealots, especially with the drones coming back. They're going to sandwich this. The Roaches and the Ravagers hiding back. Those Zealots aren't able to land any hits. The Queen comes over. She's not really part of this battle. She finally lands a Transfuse. But look at that. The drones zone out the Stalkers. All the Zealots are gone. The drones can go back to mining. The Roach Ravager defends. And that's going to be a beautiful victory here for BioIce. He says, all right, you got your rush up. But if I go for a drone scout early, that gives me a lot of options against this. And that's why if you're playing a known cannon rusher, or you simply like having a drone scout so you've got the earliest possible response, definitely an option is that instant hatchery in there natural. Like I said, let's go back and look at it really quickly, because I'm so curious with... Did he just build 4 Zerglings blind? I don't think his Overlord saw anything. So look at this. He builds Zerglings at this point. BioIce doesn't see anything. This Overlord should be over here. And if you see no cannon, no defense, absolutely build 4 lings. Otherwise, though, probably not necessarily worth it. These 4 lings, if there was already a cannon finished, would be a big waste of money. And that Cybercore would have bought a lot more time. Where Printf might have been able to get a cannon or a shield battery up back here. And anything like that that buys him just a little bit more time here would have been huge. Because if he could buy even 30 more seconds, do you know what 30 seconds equals? It equals a recall on this Nexus. Which means he could do a whole bunch of damage and keep his base up at the same time. And if you've got a position here with cannons and batteries and Stalkers and you're safe, and you've still got a position on the front that you're building Stalkers at, you are in an awesomely good position. So a big mistake by Printf this game, I think a cute response by BioIce, but I think what we want to get at there is that one of the cool things you could always do against this is you can mix and match your response. So you could be like, hey, am I going to actually go all defense and focus on surviving? Or am I going to counter it? Whenever you have that proxy hatchery up, it gives you the flexibility to kind of choose. And if you say built roaches and ravagers, but then they build a cannon and a battery and you're biling it down and then they recall stalkers, what you could do as the Zerg is you could quickly grab your army from here, run home, and then sandwich this. And they can't recall back to this setup because they don't have a nexus here. So the best they can do is chase after your army, which they'll be far behind it because you can react as soon as you realize that they're recalling off the front. And then you can break out and be back in control, take your own expansion, play a much more normal game. So the thing is, it seems unfair when we put all of our eggs in one basket. If we commit everything to this and he has the extra cannon and the battery, and we're like, oh, he defended it. It seems like that. But always remember, what I love about any proxy hatch answer to this, whether it be as fast as this one or one that's a bit later that you do reactively cancel the hatch, send that drone over and build it, is it gives you the option to force them to have to defend multiple areas rather than just giving them the gift of only focusing on this one strong point. Really cool. Let's go look at the next game. All right, into the next map. It's going to be a Protoss vs. Zerg on Jaganatha. Up here in the top right, it's Prince F. And his opponent, it's Imposter. A nice long map. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It looks like the exact same thing. But remember, every map is different. Now that's what I'm curious about. Does Printf do a high ground pylon wall in and try to go maybe like cannon there, gate there, pylon there to wall in a cannon? Or does he just go the single pylon there, pylon, and then get another pylon like there, and then just try to squeeze a cannon in this little cage? So there's a few different ways he could do it. Oh, he's going to go to the right side to start. And, oh, he veers in. Changes his mind. That's pretty obvious that your probe's coming from a dodgy angle, though. If Imposter's paying attention, you're like, why is the probe coming from over there? Imposter... Oh, this is a very lazy Zerg player. He sees a pylon now, but I think it's a little too late. And notice Printf sets that up, but he cancels that. Because if he realizes there's nothing blocking him, he just builds the pylon there, and he wants to do, yeah, pylon, gate, cannon there. Now, I like that. Notice that Printf was waiting. He doesn't want to actually let those finish. But if drones get pulled, he builds those reactively. That one first, then that one. And then this buys him time to go... Wait, where's the cannon? Does he not have money? Okay, he's got to cancel the pylons to get the money. So, oh, where's the pylon? One more pylon? Or I guess he doesn't need it because only 2 drones could get in there at a time. So Printf says, you know what? You're not pulling drones. Even if you were, only 2 could attack it at a time. You need 3 or 4 to actually kill it before it finishes. I know that you're not even responding that hard to this. He knows this hatchery is probably going to get cancelled. And it is indeed. He scouts in the main. He says double gas. Now, I don't know the exact differences in how he plays it, but definitely if it's not double gas, they have to rely on just queens, lings, spine crawlers. If they go double gas, it's going to be ravagers. So he knows this. Or if they're a crazy person, banelings, but he even sees the baneling nest. So now Printf knows he's just got to keep his buildings spread out so the banelings can't hit too many buildings at once. If they can hit 2, it's not the end of the world. 1 is ideal, of course. So he's just going to try and spread his buildings out. He's already got a gateway on the high ground. And he does have that 1 gas mining, 15 workers on minerals. Cybercore is about halfway done. An extra cannon builds there. There's no ling speed building. So this Zerg's going to try and do slow Zergling Baneling. He's trying to build a spine. Notice how Printf, at this point, if the Zerg isn't building lots of fighting units, he recognizes and adapts to the situation. He uses his probe as a combat unit, gets a whole bunch of damage done on that spine crawler. So if that spine ends up dueling a cannon later, that could be a difference. And look at that. The Queen's being told to attack the gateway. The probe comes over. He gets 15, 20 points of damage on that Queen. Yeah, she's regenning. It's not the end of the world, but this can add up. It's these little increments that he's so focused on. 2 shield batteries go down, as well as 2 stalkers being chrono boosted. A spine crawler is going to move over. Another spine is here. Trying to build Zerglings is Imposter, but Imposter's rally points are a little bit mixed there. There's 6 Zerglings on the low ground and a Queen, as well as more Zerglings on the high ground. So Imposter's going to make mass Baneling, is going to try and run spine crawlers up, root them, attack with Queens, and Ling Bane is going to sandwich. So Ling Bane from the right, Ling Bane from the left. There's only so much space to work with for Printf. He's got 2 batteries, a few cannons. mean, this is going to be really weird to see how this works out. The Stalkers take out the Spine. There's another Spine. They're just going to focus that down as well. Without Link Speed, these Stalkers have no fear. This looks like it is a killing setup. And I don't... Imposter's going to go. He's going to go. He's going to go. But a lot of the Banelings going down before they connect. They're going for that pylon. Power pylon. Power pylon. Oh! Prince F messed up. Prince F messed up real bad. Real bad. He only had one pylon in there. He had a weak spot. The thing is, he even had time to repair it. You got to realize your weak spots. You cannot have one pylon powering everything. A big mistake for Prince F. But it's only drones left, and there's no Link Speed or anything. They have to chase after the Stalkers. Look at this. He moves, focus fires, moves, focus fires, moves, focus fires. So he just keeps one-shotting those drones. Now the cannons are back up. The Queen dies. The Overlord dies. Ruffle, what a Bane nest. Yeah, I think this is possibly the worst response we ever could have seen. I mean, going for, what was that? It was like, let's just let my hatchery finish. I mean, this was just lazy play from the Zerg from the get-go, right? He made it so easy for Printef to get up. And if anyone's looking for a really detailed guide on how to defend all this, I mean, we're looking at cool different answers. Remember that if you go back to my classic Pig Daily episode on cannon rushes with Printef, that still has all the answers. It's all about don't let it get up in the first place, if possible. And usually that's possible. And there's people who sometimes do shit on me when I say this, but I recently have defended multiple pro gamers cannon rushes as well, and there's no difference between theirs, except they're usually worse executed than someone like Printef. But to see these probes early and really not react at all, this was a pretty weak response out of Imposter in my opinion. Didn't even pull a drone after seeing the probe over there. Just a little bit lazy. I think should have cancelled the hatchery, gone and built it somewhere else. And if you're going to go double gas, you got to go Ravagers. No way are you going to go for a Baneling bust against something like this. That's just madness. All right, into our next game here. It's going to be on Lightshade this time around. And in the bottom right, it's Printef. This one's meant to have a very different solution to it from the description. So we'll take a look through and see exactly how the Zerg ends up fighting this. In the top left, it's Cade 6. Because one of the interesting things is, will it work or will it not? It comes down to so many minute details. So if we look at the architecture of Lightshade, that same kind of pylon there, cannon there, gateway pylon, that sort of stuff can work here. You don't really get the same options on this side. It's too wide open there. That's a 2 pylon wall as well, I think. But I like this. He always threatens this one. So if they pull a lot of drones, he goes for this one that's really far away from the drone pool. So it's really hard for the drone pool to stop. And so if people are drone pulling really well, he commits to that one and just multi-layers it. But if they don't, he cancels it. And he goes for this one. And he's just got this 2 probe system. This one becomes the builder. This one becomes the blocker. This Zerg, so lazy, not paying any attention at all. Finally pulls a drone down. Printef drops the 2 pylons reactively. And can build it now. Gateway on the low ground. And I think he can just cancel both of those right about now. He's going to go gas at home first, interestingly. So he starts his gas, cancels the 2 pylons, and starts the cannon there. Now, he needs to build a pylon there if drones get pulled. So he's going to build that temporarily and then probably just cancel it. And behind this, what's the Zerg's response? So far, no second gas. And he scouts it. So this Zerg is going to do a 1 gas response. What did I just... Sorry, guys. I think I just broke something. Oh! I somehow paused the replay without pressing the pause key. I'm very confused. Either way, sorry about that, guys. Just whacking keys on my keyboard. We've got the 3rd hatchery going down. Oh, no, it is the second gas. Okay, it is going to be the Ravager response just a little bit later on the second gas. The Spine Crawler goes down as well, once again, using his probes to work on that. Cannons on the high ground. We've seen this scenario before multiple times. And a second spine as well. This time 2 drones get pulled to defend those spines. The spines are a little bit earlier than in some of those previous games. And Printef, he's building 2 extra probes. He's building 3 extra probes. Way too many probes for Printef, actually. He should be putting this money into more cannons and batteries on the high ground. So a bit of a mistake from Printef, who's building another probe. Ooh, Printef making, I think, a really big mistake there. You don't need that many probes. Because you're already, he often stops at 15 in these previous games. I think he finally cancelled one there, but 23 probes, quite a few more than you need. You only need about 20 to do this rush. You could technically stop at 19, 21 at the highest. 23 is way too many. Now shield battery goes down, but look at this. The queen and the spine already going to find an angle on this cannon, and the shield batteries aren't ready in time. If he can get rid of that cannon, that's going to set up for this great. Roaches are already on the way. 5 spine crawlers as well as ravagers backing this up. These spines are already taking this out. The stalkers aren't quite here. And this seems like there just wasn't enough cannons or shield batteries ready on the high ground for Print F, as these spine crawlers and roaches are going to overwhelm this. This is getting going really quick, and the batteries just aren't quite ready. If you lose the cannons, you have no firepower. The cannons do way more DPS than a Stalker. They shoot so much faster. If you keep your cannons alive for the shield batteries to start healing them, it becomes a huge problem for the Zerg. But without that, the Stalkers are maneuverable, they're flexible, they're annoying, they're good versus roaches, but they're nothing compared to actually having a cannon up. So what the Zerg is doing is the Zerg is going all in on pushing him off the high ground. Notice there's a 6 worker disparity. Print F, if he loses this high ground though, he's dead because all of his production is on this side of the map. He has to defend the high ground, and the Zerg, notice the way he's biling, often in between the structures, so he hits 2 with 1 set of biles. That spine crawler is in a bad position. He's got to move that forward there. That's a nice healthy spine. More biles landing. You see, once again, hits 2 batteries with the single set of biles. This next queen pops out. She comes over as well. He's so low on hit points. Another Ravager goes down. Another queen goes down, but 3 stalkers fall as well. The cannon on the low ground does get a shot off. Remember, Printf canceled that cannon in one of the previous games and instead built it on the high ground. But in this scenario, he didn't do that. And, losing all the cannons. We can see that cannon on the low ground. Because, look, if he loses this, he doesn't have high ground vision, which means he's going to be forced onto the ramp. Every time he goes on the ramp, that spine crawler is going to land hits on him. Even more so if it was down and left to the one, down into the left 1 square there, 1 space. The Stalkers are trying to provide some high ground vision, but that's what I'm talking about. That big 30 damage versus armored Impaler Tentacle. I mean, holy shit. That is going to be a situation now. Oh, and he's supply block because he lost all those pylons on the high ground. He's just starting another pylon now is Print F. He's got 500 minerals in the bank. He's got 2 stalkers queued. He's got a probe here. He needs to build another pylon powering this right now. If he wants to hang on to this, he needs to build a pylon. That's not powering both. You need to build it right up against next to the gateway. He's trying to build a robo. That's way too late. Way too late. He's canceling the stalkers, so he builds the robo here. These 4 stalkers are going to try to hang on. If he had some shield batteries down here, he could maintain this position. But without units reinforcing, without extra shield batteries for healing, I don't think it's going to be enough. He will take out 1 roach here, but the Ravagers are just going to force their way down. Cade 6 here just absolutely monster moding this rush. And if you can get them off the high ground, you can defend the push. And that's exactly what Cade 6 is showing here, is just pushing the Protoss back. The Stalkers microing in and out as best they can. That shield battery dies, the robo gets cancelled. Printf, he's lost all of his production. He's got no ability to build units. He's trying to get up more shield batteries here, but he is done. And I think he's going to realize it. The Zerg moves down to retake his natural. The Ravager is very comfortable at this point. And remember that a Ravager has 3.85 movement speed. A Stalker's only barely faster. So every time you run up there, you're going to take hits from them. A Robo goes down behind it. Some gateways, a Warp Gate. But this game's basically over. This is done. He's going to keep microing his heart out. So let's 8 times it, see what happens. He catches that last Stalker. And, he doesn't even get a chance to get any units out. Does he get an Immortal? He does get 1 Immortal. But the Ravagers kill the Immortal, and that's that. So if we go back in this one really quickly, let's go back to the setup stage and say, hey, wait a second. Why didn't we have more cannons on the high ground earlier? Was this cannon too late? And if he cuts... Because look, he's even going up to 24 probes, and then he cancels this. Because if he has 3 less probes, he cancels that the last second, but he could have 2 less than that. He could already have another cannon building here. And I think in this scenario, he absolutely should. Because if you look at Printf's vision, he saw all these spine crawlers building. The moment you see spines building, you know it's just going to be an arms race of them trying to push you off this high ground. Like, immediately, as soon as those spines finish. So he absolutely should have been doubling down on cannon production. Don't get me wrong, stalkers are important. But in this scenario, cannons and batteries on the high ground were probably even more important. So the big mistake that Printf made as the executor of this rush was he was like, it's double gas Ravager. Oh no, I gotta worry, corrosive bile can hit cannons without getting hit back. It outranges it. So I gotta make sure I get stalkers. That's all that matters. That was not actually the case. This was a mixed response from Cade. And as a result, Printf needed a mixed response himself. He needed to go a mix of cannons and batteries and at all costs hold the high ground and then focus a bit more on the stalkers. So a bit of a mistake from Printf, overprobed a little bit, didn't build an extra cannon when he needed to or an extra shield battery, and because of that, he did end up losing. Let's go to the next one. All right, we're back here on Lightshade again. This time, though, we are going to see a very different Zerg. It's not a 4-head Zerg, it's a 5-head Scout. It's a very interesting clan name. And of course, Printf's going to start with the same opening. But let's see what the Zerg does differently, how Printf adapts, and exactly what goes down. Now, the Zerg there does an extractor trick opening. Wow. So that, for those who don't know, that's where you build an extractor so that you can squeeze out one more drone. Cute little adjustment on the opening start there. It works out very similar to not bothering to do it just because the extra mining time of building a gas, cancelling it. You only lose a couple minerals for it, but it's not really worth getting the drone out. It's very similar. Probe comes in, sees the hatchery go down, starts that pylon. And this overlord coming down. And you should see this probe. Probe's going to go on up. And he already knows it's hatched first. That's all he needs to know. So he's going to go for that pylon. He's going to cancel that one. Got to cancel it. Oh, he screws up the placement. Oh my god, he almost messed it up. You know what, Scout could cancel that and then try to 2v1 this probe. If he brings that around, and then he could deny this while breaking the pylons down from the top, but Scout not going to do that. He's going to let Printf get this up quite nicely. He's going to send this drone across the map. Maybe a proxy hatch on the cards. That hatchery gets cancelled. We've got spawning pool gas. Will he get a second gas as well? I don't know. And that probe is going to come on around there. Keep an eye on exactly what's going on. He sees no second gas just yet, but we saw that kind of late in the previous game. Oh, wait, what? He's pulling drones now? Oh, he's got to get a cancel on that cannon. If he doesn't get a cancel, this is not worth it at all. And Printf being very patient, he's going to let his cannon get a few kills there. Ooh, he doesn't quite get that second drone, so I think he only got one drone there. So that is actually pretty damn good move by Scout, who then, by delaying the cannons, tries to build spines in range. Now, one thing you guys got to remember, spine crawlers, take 36 seconds to build, cannons 29. It's a 7-second build advantage on the cannons. The spine is better in head-to-head combat because it does a bit more damage, but the cannons build faster. So if you're building them like this in range of the cannons, you really need to have a big head start on them. And as we saw there, these other cannons came down not too much later. So Printf, he's got a focus fire as well. The cannons aren't focus fired right now. Okay, this cannon focused on the left ones, and now he's focus firing on that one. And, he's got a zealot as well. Realizing this was just an arms race of fighting for the high ground, adds a zealot in there. Anything to beat back those spines. This is so different to that previous game where he did the Ravages, right? This time, because there was no second gas and Roachhorn kind of confusing Printf, he said, lots of spines, build lots of cannons, build a zealot. And he made that quick adaptation. He even delayed his Cybercore. It's only just finished behind this. He doesn't have a second gateway. He's just been committing everything to maintaining that position. And in fact, he could go a Robo now. I wonder if he goes a Robo in this scenario, because he doesn't have 2-gate Stalker pressure. The Zealot runs in the mineral line, but he's getting drone kills right now. Oh my god, he got like 3 drones there. Not bad. And indeed, a Robo goes down as well as a second gas. So Printf's going to probe up a little bit more and go for Immortals. He's still very adamant about holding this high ground. I'd be a bit paranoid about having only one pylon, but without Banelings there, it's like, what's he going to do? His Roachhorn's just finished. It's going to be a while till he can bile that down, and shield batteries will be able to heal it. So he's just going to try to hold on to the high ground for enough time to get out an Immortal. He's got a Stalker on the way from the gateway. I think he can start a second Stalker, and he should still have enough gas. Since he started mining from the second gas, he should still have enough gas to start an Immortal when that's ready. Now the Stalker's going to run around the right side, get a look at what's going on, see some Roaches coming, is like, oh, okay. Realizes, of course, you're not going to kill a Ravager before it finishes morphing. Stalker here is going to go for that red hit point. Spine Crawler, a little ambitious, though. Takes a lot of hits. The Immortal does start up there. No Chronos dropping just yet, though. Printf microing back and forwards. Those cannons taking a lot of damage from that. Once again, Zerg players landing biles right in between the structures to hit both. Really expert placement. Shield battery's already running very low on juice. These Stalkers are going to try and take on the Spinecrawler. The Immortal's not here just yet. And actually, Scout's doing a really good job microing and actually has some transfuse. As long as Scout brings these spines all over so they support each other and uses transfuse on these spines, I think Scout can maybe get through this, but the Immortal's here. Immortal's always a problem. And oh, loses the Queen. Transfuse! 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 Get that Queen out of there! Get that Queen out of there! Oh my god, Scout! Scout here losing a spine. These spines not really helping out now. I think they should have stayed in a more central position. The shield batteries were out of juice. I think Scout got a bit too fancy there. Does take out a Stalker though. And you know what? Some Biles spread across this ramp can keep the Immortal out of there. That one cannon is a big problem though. Cannons do so much damage. So Scout is very wisely hesitant to engage on that. And the Immortal's still very weak. There's an extra shield battery in the back. That's something you got to be scared of as well. The Queens need to just get out of there. They're a bit too immobile for now. They should wait till they have more transfuse energy. And, oh, nice Biles, but a good double cancel reaction there. Good Spinecrawler move by Scout. Now, that does put them in harm's way, though. And one Ravager already dies to the cannon. That's what I'm talking about with that DPS. And the Immortals actually move forward past the Biles. The Roaches are armored units. They need to get out of there. The Immortals do not care about Roaches. They focus down the Queen before she gets a transfuse. This Queen hits transfuse energy, but she's going to die. Ah, both Queens not getting transfuses off. And the Immortals there just slaughtering the Spinecrawler Roach. Scout was so close to actually getting a hold on this situation, but just not quite able to push him off the high ground. And Printf able to make it work. And with that, guys, I hope you've learned a lot about Printf's latest wave of bullshit, and you've got some ideas on how to hold it. I want to reiterate, though, if you guys are struggling, please go watch the old Pig Daily episode where we spend ages poring over every different matchup on how the hell to beat that. Just look up Pig Daily, Printf Cannons. You will find it here on YouTube. And it goes over just pool workers. And I honestly look at all these scenarios these Zergs are in and I go, oh, that looks so uncomfortable. Just scout better with your Overlord, pull more drones, break down every possible pylon to begin with, become an expert in the worker fighting. It's still my favorite way to defend it. Thankfully, though, most Zergs don't do that, or we wouldn't have awesome games to cast like these. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next episode of The King of Cannons. Goodbye and good night.